Hey guys, welcome to the goal setting actions lesson. We are going to go over all the actions that you can take and should take after you are done with the goal setting module. I want you to do something you're afraid of that moves you towards your goals. This can be anything on your action list or a mini goal or something smaller, but I really want you to intentionally seek out doing something that you're a little bit afraid to do and experience that fear and just remember it's just an emotion and do it anyways. And then I want you to document you did this and give yourself a freaking high five. You just embrace the fear and practice courage. I can tell you every time I've done this has been so rewarding. Couldn't afford to get into a program I wanted to get into, and I asked myself, how can I do this? How can I do this? And I ended up reaching out to the owner of this program and asking her if I could work for her. And she said no. And she was really nice about it. She just didn't have any, openings basically. And that was kind of like a blow to me. It was like, oh, I did something scary. I felt the fear. I went for it and I failed. And that would be something that I could write down for this. So it's something that you want to make sure that moves you forward in pursuit of your goals, but that you're kind of afraid to do. That kind of sounds scary to you. Okay, next up, I want you to write a letter from your future self to yourself now. This sounds kind of weird, but it's so useful. So let's say that whatever you have doubts about or fears about. So let's say you're doubting whether to take a new job or whether to move or whether to start a blog or whatever you're having doubts about or fears. Imagine you are either 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, or even longer if you want to do 25 years down the road, and looking back, what would you write in a letter to yourself now? And it is so funny how our future self can help us right now and really relieve all of that fear and doubt. And then the decision also becomes so much clearer. It's really great. Next, the meat of this whole module, I want you to set one-year goal. I put the list of the 14 goal setting process in this slide for you to review, including the bonus tip. And I really want you to go through this process and pick your goal, set it, and move forward. That is the whole point of designing your dream life. It's one goal at a time. Do not do more than one. You're not ready. Okay, fine. If you are ready, you can do two, but that's it. No exceptions until you're a pro, because it's too easy to get distracted. I want you to write down your 3 failures for this month. So I want you to keep a failures list every month, and I want you to write down the 3 things that you try to pursue or you do pursue this month and you fail at. So when I reached out to this woman about working for her to kind of pay for this course or training, and she basically said no, that would be a failure, because I put myself out there and I tried and I overcame my fear to ask and I did it, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but it was just practicing. So it's reframing failure, because when you have a failures list, you basically have a goal to get 3 failures a month. That's what this is. And by failures, I mean actually putting yourself out there, not failing by not acting at all. That does not count. By documenting your failures in this way and thinking of failures as a goal, you will start to reframe failure and not make it mean anything, because it shouldn't mean anything about you. Okay, I like to think of them as do-overs. Solutions ahead of time. This is great. I want you to make a list of your biggest obstacles that you think will get in the way of achieving your goal. And I want you to come up with a list of solutions and a game plan for how to move forward when these happen. Now, of course, you can't predict everything. There's going to be things that come out of left field and you don't know. But there are some things that you probably have an idea of what your biggest obstacles will be. So I want you to write those down, and then I want you to come up with the solutions and a game plan for how you're going to handle them. Ooh, this next action is amazing. I want you to think about what's going to be different and what is going to be the same after you accomplish your goal. And I really want you to practice thinking about the result that you're looking for and how it's going to impact your life, and what it's not going to change at all. So if you are starting a business, maybe it's going to change, your job if you quit your job, and maybe it's going to change how you make money and all like the career aspects of your life, but it's not going to change your happiness and your relationship with your family and your health, your weight, or something like that. So the point of this is that we tend to think that it's just this one thing that we need in our lives to go right, and then we'll be better, or then we'll be happy, or then basically we expect all of these things to change, but it's just one goal and it's just one result, and it's going to change what it's going to change, but it's not going to change everything else. So this is really, really helpful, because for me, I know I love goal setting and productivity, and I'm really good at this stuff. It's just my jam. But I have to remember that that stuff has nothing to do with like my happiness and well-being and health and my relationships. And knowing this and separating the two has just been so amazing in my life, because I don't have the expectation that it makes those things different, and I focus on them in their own space. Okay, it'll help you remember to keep your goals separate from happiness, because happiness is not on the other side of your goal. Next up, like in all of the action lessons, I want you to practice thoughts, emotions, and questions around goal setting. So anytime that we're working on something, you can come up with the thoughts that you need to create and manifest and practice. But remember, you only practice thoughts that you actually believe, or else it won't work. Emotions, what emotions do you need to generate for your goals? This is going to depend on the goal. Are you starting a business, or are you trying to meet someone? Very different emotions. Questions, and I'm giving the example of a question on this slide, because questions I think are so easy to do with very little resistance, and they lead to huge results. So in this one, I put as an example of questions to ask, I put, how can I find more time to work on my goal? That would be a great question to ask yourself at night if you struggle with time management, or you're not finding time for your goals. How can I solve this problem so I can accomplish my goal? If a problem or obstacle comes up, ask yourself, how can I solve this? How can I solve this? How can I make more money to pay to do XYZ for my goal? So this was one I asked when I wanted to get in that program and I didn't have enough income to do it. I was asking myself, how can I make more money to do this? How can I, whatever it is for your finances, how can I save more money? How can I accomplish my mini goals this month? Or how can I accomplish whatever? How can I get more motivated about my goal? Whatever it is, I suggest picking like one at a time and just asking yourself that one question for a few nights in a row, at night, before bed, or if you want in the morning, just whenever you can kind of ask yourself that to yourself, and then just go about your day, and just your subconscious, your brain will go to work, and it is seriously magic. I want you to use all of these actions to help improve your skill of goal setting. And the result of using such a process-oriented goal setting structure is that you can continue to use it over time and get really good at it, and then get the results that you want. So it is really that great if you do the work. But remember, you have to do the work. It's not enough to just listen to me. Okay, I will see you in the next lesson.